Are you having trouble winning your expert difficulty campaign? Don't know how to use your fleet effectively? Look no further, because I have the tactical playbook just for you. I have divided this video into two parts: general strategy and in-depth tactics. In terms of general strategy, hopefully it comes as no surprise that the fight starts much before both sides reach the battlefield. For large engagements, it is imperative you have reinforcements on standby, as you will lose some of your ships. For full-scale engagements, you will need to pay attention to every level of space combat, which I will divide into three groups: small craft, from starfighters to frigates; support craft, smaller but powerful complements to your fleet; and capital ships, heavily armored and heavily gunned. To effectively fight smaller craft, you need at least some form of fighter presence. If your fighters are greatly outnumbered, keep them supported with flak and supply crates. A well-positioned carrier can turn a slaughter into a survivable dogfight. The biggest threat to carriers will be enemy corvettes and frigates. You will need hunters/screeners to protect these valuable ships. Your smaller ships should be positioned in front of your carriers, but behind/supporting the front lines. Your support ships should be used as needed. These ships can range from bringing extra firepower to disabling enemy ships, or they may bring defensive abilities to aid your fleet, such as missile jamming. Now for the big stuff: capital ships. The most effective strategy for using capital ships is to keep your tankiest ship in the back line, otherwise known as the anchor. There, it can support your entire fleet while not easily being focused down by the enemy. For this strategy to work, you must employ a tactic called target saturation. Speaking of tactics, now we enter the in-depth part of the video. The following will be using examples of the late game rebellion. Back to target saturation. What does target saturation mean? It means by having so many targets to shoot at, the enemy has trouble effectively destroying your ships one by one. Usually, this forces the enemy to spread their fire between all of your ships, maximizing your damage potential with the ships you currently have deployed. Having your ships in an optimal firing formation, anchor covering the fleet and support craft in position, will allow you to inflict the most damage with the least amount of casualties. In order to optimize your fire support, it's imperative to recognize where the guns are located on the ship. Generally, there are two styles of outfitting a ship: the broadside and the forward firing. Broadsides are typically powerful ships, and their firepower can be doubled simply by placing it in a position where it can fire from multiple angles. Broadside style ships are better used as assault vessels, since their mobility is important to maximizing their usefulness. Forward-firing ships, like a Star Destroyer, are best left at medium to long range. Since all of the guns are pointed forward, it has an advantage in head-to-head fights. The disadvantage of these ships is that they are prone to flanking maneuvers. Even engaging from the side will reduce its firepower by half. If you find yourself decisively losing the capital ship fight or the small craft fight, it is best to retreat if possible. If retreat is impossible, another strategy to rout the enemy would be to destroy the enemy capital ships/space stations. Lastly, don't underestimate the small craft. If left unchecked, a small fleet of corvettes could turn into effective capital ship killers. Remember, you need the right tool for the job. You can't use a cannon to kill a fly. If you're not effectively fighting off small craft, run. They can kill you, and besides, it's easy to return with more corvettes. It would be much harder to regroup if you're missing a few capital ships. Even a handful of hammerheads can take down a Star Destroyer if it has no support. And before you go, remember, this is a game versus a computer that actively cheats. Losing is normal and expected. No one has ever been good at this game their first time around. Just keep trying, have fun, and make your own Star Wars movies.